Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams.
This is the story of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Perhaps the most remarkable, certainly the most successful book ever to come out of the great publishing corporations of Ursa Minor.
More popular than Celestial Hunker Omnibus, best-selling than 50 More Things to Do and Zero Gravity, and more controversial than Oolong Kalufa's trilogy of philosophical blockbusters. Where Gods Went Wrong, some of God's greatest mistakes, and who is this God person anyway?
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has already beaten the great Encyclopedia Galactica as the standard book of all knowledge and wisdom. It has the words, "Don't panic!" in large and friendly letters on the cover. To tell the story behind the book, it's best to tell the story from some of the minds behind it. A human from planet Earth and his sister were two of them, though as our story opens, they were ignorant of their destiny. His name is Arthur Dent, and hers is Jane Dent. Someone is trying to build a motorway through their home.
Come off it, Mr. Dent. You can't win, you know. Look, there's no point in lying down in the path of progress.
I've gone off the idea of progress. It's overrated.
But you must realise that you can't lie in front of the bulldozers indefinitely.
I'm game. Let's see who rusts first.
I'm afraid you're going to have to accept it. This motorway has got to be built, and it is going to be built. Nothing you can say or do.
Why has it got to be built?
What do you mean? Why has it got to be built? It's a motorway. You've got to build motorways. The plans have been available in the planning office for the last 9 months.
Yes, I went round to find them yesterday afternoon. You haven't exactly gone out of your way to let us know, have you?
The plans were on display.
Ah, and how many members of the public are in the habit of casually dropping around the local planning office?
It's not exactly a noted social venue, is it? And the plans weren't immediately obvious to the eye, and it's not exactly like the local disco, is it?
That depends where you were looking.
We had to go down to the cellar.
That's the display department.
With a torch.
The lights had probably gone, Mr. Dent.
Yes.
Have you any idea how much damage that bulldozer will suffer if I just let it roll straight over you?
How much?
None at all.
By a strange coincidence, none at all, is exactly how much suspicion Arthur and Jane Dent had that one of their closest friends was, in fact, from a small planet somewhere in the vicinity of Beetlejuice. Her name was Ford Prefect, and she will enter our story in about 10 seconds and say, "Hello, Arthur."
Hello, Arthur.
Ford, hi, how are you?
Fine. Look, are you busy?
Well, we just got this bulldozer to lie in front of. Otherwise, no, not especially.
There's a coffee shop down the road. Let's have a drink and we can talk. I've got to tell you the most important thing you've ever heard. I've got to tell you now, and I've got to tell you in that cafe there.
Why?
Because you're going to need a drink.
We'll see what we can do. It'd better be good.
Hello, Mr. Prosser?
Yes, Mr. Dent. Have you come to your senses yet?
I'm just popping to the coffee shop, so if you could just assume that I'm actually here, I'll slip off for half an hour. How does that sound?
That sounds, well, very reasonable, I think, Mr. Dent.
And if you want to pop off a bit later, I can always cover for you in return.
Oh, thank you. Yes, well, that would be fine. Yes, very kind of you, sir, very kind.
Do you think we can trust him?
Myself, I'd trust him to the ends of the earth.
Yes, but how far is that?
About 12 minutes away. Come on, I need a drink.
By drink, Ford prefect meant alcohol. The Encyclopedia Galactica describes alcohol as colourless liquids. It also notes its intoxicating effect on certain carbon-based life forms.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy also mentions alcohol. It says that the best drink in existence is the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, the effect of which is like having your brain smashed out by a slice of lemon wrapped around a large brick of gold.
6 cups of coffee and a beer, and quickly please, the world's about to end.
Oh yes, madam, nice weather for it. Going to watch the match this afternoon?
No point.
Foregone conclusion, you reckon, madam? Arsenal going to lose?
No, it's just that the world's going to end.
Ah yes, madam, he said. Lucky escape for Arsenal then.
No, not really.
There you are, madam.
Keep the change.
Thank you, madam.
You've got 10 minutes left to spend it.
Ford, would you please tell us what's going on?
Drink up. You've got 3 coffees to get through.
Why 3?
Muscle relaxants. You'll need it.
Did we do something wrong today? Has the world always been mad?
All right, I'll try to explain. How long have we known each other, Arthur?
5 years? Maybe 6?
All right. And how would you react if I said that I'm not from Onken after all, but from a small planet somewhere in the vicinity of Beetlejuice?
I don't know. Why?
Drink up. The world's about to end.
Oh.
On this particular day, something was moving above the surface of the planet, but few people on the surface of the planet were aware of it. One of them was called Lady Cynthia Fitzmilton. She was standing in front of Arthur Dent's house in Douglas.
I have been asked to come here to say a few words to mark the beginning of work on the very splendid and worthwhile Douglas to Peel motorway. You, sir! And I must say immediately what a great honour and great privilege I think it must be for you, the people of Douglas, to have this gleaming new motorway going through your little town.
Why don't you push off, you smelly old bag?
What about our homes?
You stink of old socks!
And it gives me great pleasure to take this bottle of very splendid champagne and break it against the noble prow of this very splendid yellow bulldozer.
What's that?
Don't worry, they haven't started yet.
Oh, good.
It's probably just your house being knocked down.
What?
It hardly makes any difference at this stage.
Are you serious, sir? Do you really think the world's going to end this afternoon?
Yes, in just over 1 minute and 35 seconds.
Well, isn't there anything we can do?
Nope, nothing.
Well, I always thought we were meant to lie down and put a paper bag on our head or something.
If you like, yes.
And will that help?
No! Excuse me, I've got to find my friend.
Very well then. Last orders, please!
You pinstripe barbarians! I'll sue the council for every penny it's got.
Arthur, don't bother, there's only 10 seconds left.
What the hell's that?
You two, quick, over here.
But what the hell is it?
It's a fleet of flying saucers.
What do you mean, flying saucers?
Just that. It's a Vogon constructor fleet.
A what?
A Vogon constructor fleet.
Ford, I don't think I can cope with this anymore. I think I'll just go and have a little lie down somewhere.
People there, your attention please. This is prosthetic Vogon Jet of the Galactic Hyperspace Planet Council. As you no doubt be aware, the plan is for the development of the outlying regions of the western spiral arm of the galaxy required building of a hyperspace express route for yourself. And regrettably, your planet is one of those scheduled for demolition. This process will take slightly less than 2 of your Earth minutes. Thank you very much.
Please don't kill me, I'm too young to die.
I want to live! I want to ask out that girl in my class!
There's no point in acting all surprised about too late to start making a fuss about it now. Energize the demolition. I have no sympathy at all.
We're safe.
Oh, good.
We're in a small cabin in one of the spaceships of the Vogon constructor fleet.
Oh.
I'll have a look for the light.
Alright. How did we get here?
We hitched a lift.
Excuse me, are you trying to tell me that we just stuck out our thumb and some bug-eyed monster stuck out his head and said, "Hi, fellows, hop right in"?
Well, yes.
Fine. When can I go home?
You can't. I found the light. Here, have a look at this.
What is it?
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's a sort of electronic book. It'll tell you everything you want to know. That's its job.
I like the cover. Don't panic! It's the first helpful thing anybody's said to me all day.
That's why it sells so well.
Ford, I don't know if this sounds like a silly question, but what are we doing here?
Well, you know that. I rescued you from the Earth.
And what happened to the Earth?
It's been disintegrated.
Has it?
Yes, it just boiled away into space.
Look, I'm a bit upset about that.
Yes, I can understand.
So what do we do?
You come along with me and enjoy yourself. You'll need to have this fish in your ear.
I beg your pardon?
What
What the devil's that?
Listen, it might be important.
What?
It's the Vogon captain making an announcement on the loudspeaker.
But we can't speak Vogon.
You don't need to. Just put the fish in your ear. Come on, it's only a little one.
Ugh.
Should have a good time. Message repeat. This is your captain speaking, so stop whatever you're doing and pay attention. First of all, I see from our instruments that we have a couple of hitchhikers aboard our ship. Hello, whoever you are. I just want to make it totally clear that you are not at all welcome.
Charming, these Vogons. What's this fish doing in my ear?
Translating for you. Look under Babelfish in the book.
The babelfish is small, yellow, leech-like, and probably the oddest thing in the universe. It feeds on brainwave energy and translates everything it hears into the language of the listener.
What an extraordinary book!
What an amazing fish!
Help me write the new edition.
No! I want to go back to Earth again, or its nearest equivalent.
You're turning down 100 billion new worlds to explore.
Did you get much useful material on Earth?
I was able to extend the entry, yes.
Well, let's see what it says in this edition. Oh yes, harmless. Harmless? Is that all it's got to say? One word, harmless. What's that supposed to mean?
Well, there are 100 billion stars in the galaxy, and a small amount of space in the book. And no one knew much about the Earth, of course.
Well, I hope you managed to change that a little.
Yes, I posted a new entry off to the editor. He had to trim it a bit, but it's still an improvement.
What does it say now?
Mostly harmless.
Mostly harmless? Wait, what's that?
Well, if we're lucky, it's just the Vogons come to throw us into space.
And if we're unlucky?
If we're unlucky, the captain might want to read us some of his poetry first.
Vogon poetry is the third worst in the universe, with such classics as Ode to a Small Lump of Green Putty I Found in My Armpit One Midsummer Morning. Vogon poetry is vicious, and when the Vogon captain began to read, it provoked this reaction from 4 prefects.
And this from Arthur Dent.
Oh, Fred old grunt ugly. Thy micturations are to me, ad purgled gabble blossom, lurgid be. Group, I implore thee, my founting turtle drones. And hootuously drangle with crinkly bindle wordles. So, Earthlings, I present you with a simple choice. I was going to throw you straight out into the empty blackness of space to die horribly and slowly. But there is one simple way in which you may save yourselves. Now think very carefully, for you hold your very lives in your hands. Now choose, either die in the vacuum of space, or... Tell me how good you thought my poetry was.
Will our heroes survive this terrible ordeal?
Can they win through with their integrity unscathed?
Can they escape without completely compromising their honour and artistic judgment? Tune in next week for the next exciting instalment of
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy starred
Sophie Hawley,
Georgia Harding,
Hope Goff,
Aaron Hempsel,
Henry Hopkins,
Leon Everett,
Martha Griffiths,
Lily Ellison,
Caleb Ingham,
Henry Davis,
Magnus Kelly,
and Molly Heedon.
It was produced and directed by
Alex Duncan.
This has been a Buchan School production.